Hobart. All right, thank you, Stephen. Um, so let's proceed at a good clip here with introducing Domenico D'Amico. He's an accounting official at the Italian Ministry of Justice. He is involved in monetary reform circles in Italy. His presentation is titled CBDC, now I have to read, as a means of power, US dollar and its next world standards. And actually he has two presentations. The next one is Radical Monetary Reform, a possible solution, which sounds optimistic, but it can also go into a pessimistic. Domenico, nice to see you. Welcome to the conference. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Govert. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you to the American Monetary Institute for the invitation. Hello to everyone. And it's a very big pleasure to be here. And I wanted to present to you this work that I have written a few years ago, together with Professor Guido Giacomo Preparata. Okay. This is the title and the question that we have in mind for this presentation. As I said before, this was I start with this presentation of the work very quickly because the presentation otherwise takes 2 hours. But I will be very quick. And this was a work that I've been writing together with Professor Preparata, and we presented it at Oxford at a conference together with Professor Werner in 2019. This is the work, the political economy of hypermodernity, and we wanted to talk about the dollar standard after the Second World War and after the Nixon break of the 71. What is the story? In the piece, the synthesis piece, he wanted to understand, to figure out American balance of payments. We ended up questioning and tentatively correcting text in microeconomics and de facto through the analysis of a single variable, accounting for and explaining. The West's most salient economic events of the past 70 years and the nature of the American financial management of empire. We found the data very clear until the Nixon swerve, until the 71. Then the data were very difficult to understand after the Nixon suspension of Bretton Woods. Anyway, so there are two phases, before Nixon and after Nixon, of course. The main thing is this: American domestic economy and their financial involvement abroad cannot be distinguished because they are part of one piece. Everything is one piece. The economy, the domestic economy of America and the empire is only one piece, and the dollar is the instrument that they use to put everything in one piece. This is the first part of the managing the empire. The fulcrum, as we said, is the balance of payments. And what is the balance of payments? The balance of payments consists in two accounts, of which it is the sum. The current account, of course, and the capital account, or financial. The current account is the sum of the trade balance, the net investment income from abroad, and the net current transfers, aid, donation, and also military transfers. The capital account, on the other hand, measures the net flows of money movements in and out of the economy. So the trick, so to speak, is to exempt of course, we are talking about an impact. So the terms are in this point of view. Is to exact the tribute from the client space with freely issued dollars without compromising the dollar itself. This is the key of the mechanism. In other terms, the USA first helps itself to the goods and services it needs abroad by paying foreigners with its own currency, printed, issued at no cost. Then it must be to it that foreigners find profitable and, if we be unprofitable, uses for the liabilities that received. This is quickly the mechanism. The dollar go outside, they can buy factories, of course, rights outside, and the rights goes back. The dollars as the first destination that has the dollar, of course, is in the private and the state reserves. Then the other dollars goes back in United States to buy goods and services from the United States, and then the dollars is cancelled, disbursed. This is a first part of the mechanism. Of course, in this mechanism, the goal of the imperial prerogative are these dollars that remain in the reserves of the state and of the privates abroad. And the output of this mechanism, of course, is the ownership of the factories and the military bases abroad. This is the core of the imperial system. The tricks, but I have to go very more quickly because I have no time. The trick works so that the surplus of our exports, say the JFK, over imports, while substantial, has not been large enough to cover our expenditure for military establishments abroad, for capital invested by American business, and for government economic assistance and loan programs. JFK said this in the 1961, so already at that moment it was clear that the system had many problems to face, and strategists of the United States started to think how to change the system. That was the overall balance during these years, and how you can see very clearly, it matched perfectly the foreign military expenditure during these years. After this, there is the Nixon crash of the system, and what is the main thing of this new system? It was the problem. Really, it was not the trade deficit, the French that were often going to Fed asking gold, and not the wild flows that destroyed the gold standard. The problem was to do another higher order in the same way of the last one, but more complete. And so at the center of the system, after Nixon and after years of elaboration of the plan, was to put at the center of the system, of course, Wall Street. And the system is completely the same after 50 years at the moment. How it works? It works, we can name this swerve, the neoliberal swerve of the 70s. It works like the dollars go outside, they buy factories or military bases, of course. They buy rights everywhere in the world. The rights go in the United States, so they have always something that is giving income. The dollar are outside of the United States, of course. What is the use of these dollars by the foreigners? They buy services and goods, of course, new goods of Facebook and so on, tourism and Coca-Cola.
and then this part is destroyed. Then the other part of, and this is the new part, of course, of the after Nixon shock. The other part is Wall Street, are the stocks of the Wall Street markets. Then this is destroyed. And then again, the private savings and another part of dollars goes back in the United States to buy the T-bills. So this is the new mechanism. And at the center of this mechanism, there is, of course, Wall Street. That is the real big market that all the world is using to buy financial assets. So to go very quickly, this is the this part that I already said. And then this last part, the neoliberal 12 was, socially speaking, the most outstanding and dramatic phenomenon of the last 50 years. Still is our regime. Disfigured America and the world. And what is this? Is a cope or is an obligatory step that the United States had to do to maintain the power of imperial power and the power of the dollar? Maybe this is the real need that United States had to maintain the power, to change the system, to remain in power. So I go quickly. This is the technical part of the of this new balance of payments, and we can go quickly on. And how it works? It is as if the United States discharged a mass of magnetic tokens, releasing them in the world, no? So that, like magnets, they may attract foreign savings and resources in the US orbit. And the catalyst for the magnetization to work are America's two chief marketplaces. The US domestic market, but this is not so big, in percentage of the GDP, and then the most important, the financial market of Wall Street. The final output in this 70 years history, of course, is this. This is the these are the military bases of the United States around the world, and this is something that is possible only with a big monetary engine that is working very well. The other part, of course, is the financial centers of the world that mostly are in the or in the property of the United States or in the area of the Commonwealth United States area anyway. And this is what we found rebuilding the what we called strategic acquisition together with the overall balance. So we can see that the lines are going on together, and that is the part that I already said. And this is the all the system after Nixon until 2015, where our study ended. So now we can say that the last 10 years we are in a period of transition. We are in a moment, and I would like to put a question in line with the colleague that she was talking before about the CBDC. We are maybe living in a moment in which the system is changing again. After Bretton Woods and after Nixon shock, maybe we are in a key moment of big change. And this big topic of CBDC is the somehow the signal that something very big is happening. So we lived at the start of this century 10 years of somehow of strange, no? We didn't know what was happening. Then after the big crisis of 2008, another bubble started, and with the quantitative easing of all the central banks. And we are now in this moment that something is very, very strange or very strong is going to happen. We know that there are many somehow new technical instruments, no, or new technical or monetary things that we are facing these last years that we didn't know or we didn't face before. We say we heard about in these years Facebook money, for example. We heard about from Kenneth Rogoff in his book The Course of Cash about the digital Benjamin, no, and his mention about Gesell. We heard about the social dividend with condition, of course. These are the papers from Silicon Valley, Meet Boston, Harvard, and so on. We heard about everything about crypto this and crypto that, blockchain, and so on. And what is happening in there? The main thing in this market, in my opinion, is that everything is in dollar again. So maybe this is the key to understand the future of this CBDC. Will it be valued in dollar or the standard of the world in the CBDC domain in the world will be the dollar? And then lately we have those green agenda, COVID agenda, and so on. In Italy, we are now living this green pass moment that is very, very strange, because we are somehow in some living a sort of dystopia in this moment, and who is without green pass cannot do anything. But a lot of persons say that this green pass will remain even after the COVID pandemic. So what will be of this green pass? It will be a fiscal pass, a monetary pass. It will be the pass that gives some basic income, and will be the pass that start to the era of the digital identity, and so on. A lot of topics, all these topics are linked with the big topic of the CBDC and the future of money. So what we will have? We will have a new dollar standard. So we are living in the moment where a new Bretton Woods in imperial way again is starting. That are the questions I think that are very important to face for us that we are monetary reformers. And so this is the second part of the presentation. I think I have 5 minutes, Govert. Pronto? Hey?
Go ahead.
Do I have 5 minutes more left?
Yes, Dominico, go ahead. 5 minutes more. Thank you.
Thank you. So, as a monetary reformers, what do we have to say about this CBDC? Do we have to follow the flow, or do we have to say something stronger in our reformers optic? I think we have to say something strong, because this is a very very important moment for the future of money, and of course for the future of our societies and social organizations. And in this point of view, we have to stress the topic of radical monetary reform and the possible, or I don't know how to say, the thinkable possible solution. So, what do we have to say about CBDC? It will be a state or a CB or central bank money to do what? And what about the cash disappearance that we are going to face surely in the next years? What about the digital identity and the basic income and again the CBDC? It will be what? Another important topic, in my opinion, are the local currencies that we know very well in most of us, but in my opinion, are at least in the IMMR discussion, are not very well linked with the general reform. So maybe it's the moment that we should be more inclusive with these instances and experiments. In Italy, our main statement is this, that money is a common good. This is, as you know, a juridical and social definition of money, but in our opinion, it's very important to stress this concept, that this concept of money as a common good is a new social form of money. In particular, the main instance that we stress is that at the moment of the issuance, money is a property of the citizens and has to be accredited to them as general basic income. Money can be national, regional, local, and the institution can create it and spend in the system. This is the other main important point. The other point is that we stress always when we do our conferences is that everyone can lend money, but not the issuer. And then the Bellia monetary engine, that is, Bellia was an Italian independent economist that on the basis of the Steiner Gesell, but modified in a very easy way, he tried to put down an engine, a monetary engine that is very, very easy. And I give you as a paper in the, I think we will have something where put the paper, the presentation PDF. So I will put this presentation there that you can read it. And then on the basis of Bellia and Professor Auriti ideas, we have this manifesto that is our general ideas about how the monetary system has to be in the future. So this to say what? That in this very, very important moment of the history of humankind and of the history of money and monetary reform, we have to be somehow very courageous and say, as monetary reformers, that a big change is necessary. Otherwise, we will live other decades that will imitate the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Domenico. Wow, you're exactly at 12:15. Very perfect. Well done. Our monetary reformer friend, Jussi Ora from Sweden, was so kind to give 5 minutes of his time to you. So we can go over a little bit and see if there are questions for you. Maybe you can share the screen. And I want to say to everybody here present, we probably have to dig deeper into this presentation. And so it seems to me you have two papers that can be shared. One, the first one that you were talking about hypermodernity and money. And this one, money is a common good. So if we can have those added to our conference materials, that would be great to have people dig into it.
Yes, of course. I will put everything for you. It's free.
Yeah, communicate with us and we can upload it to the to our website.
Thank you, Domenico, for that too.
Thank you too.
Let's see, if you can unshare your screen, Domenico, then I can have a better view on if there are questions. I have Joe Polito as the first one. Joe, go ahead.
Thank you very much for that presentation and well-constructed slides so that we could follow very carefully. And I took a couple of print screens so I could do some research later. Obviously, we've had some concerns expressed about the potential abuses of central bank digital currency. Do you have any thoughts on what kind of legal or regulatory steps would need to be taken to ensure that CBDCs weren't abused? Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for this question. I think that we, as I said in the last part of the presentation, we somehow have to put a juridical point, that is, money is a common good. If we say this and we are able to insert this at the constitutional level, of course, it's very difficult, I understand, but we are facing a big problem, big moment. So I think we need big solutions. If we put this principle of money as a common good inside the Constitution, and we say that the money is, the value of money is the value that is issued by the people, not by the banks of the central banks or even from the state. Of course, the value of money is the value of the people, given to the money from the people, by the people. So if we put this in this constitution and we say, for example, that at the moment of the issuance has to be distributed as basic income for everyone and forever, we say something that is unchangeable in the future. Of course, at the moment is an utopistic idea of money, but it's something like this that is able to establish for the times of the future that the value goes to the people and not to the banks or to the financial market and so on. Something like this. I don't know. Is of course a general and utopistic idea at the moment, but in my opinion, has to be at that level that we have to do something.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dominico. Let's keep it at this and move on with our next presenter. Domenico, thank you very much. I think people who want to dive deeper into your presentation will have those papers of you ready. What time is it that you're at 6 o'clock, so there's dinner time probably.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay. And enjoy dinner, and thank you so much for participating.
Holbert and I we'll enjoy a glass of wine with you someday.
Me too.
And all of us here, all of us.
I invite you, just 1 minute to go. I invite you all. I'm going to organize during the spring, May, the big festival of money here in Italy. So you are all invited if you want to come. We'll give you the invitation.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great.
We'll spread it around. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe for new video notifications. Please consider donating at monetary.org/donate. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at AMI Monetary or on our website